What's going on with everybody? It's your man Dre, aka Dre on Wheels, the host of the 1130 podcast. Hey yo, man, I want to send a special shout out to Off the Top Roads podcast. If you guys ain't already heard it already, man, go tune in to wherever you get your podcasts at, man, and subscribe to Off the Top Roads podcast. Shout out to my man Shiz Lansky, man. He been a guest on my wrestling podcast twice, and he gonna be a guest on the main show. Man, so stay tuned to the 1130 podcast social medias, man, to tune in to that. And yo, go tune in, man, and cop some merch from Off the Top Ropes podcast. You dig?
Yeah. Off the Ropes be the podcast of mass destruction. Guess who's here for OGs of wrestling? Ain't no competition, we report, you gon' listen. Never no mercy.
Hey yo, what it do, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy Blackheart, Head Honcho, Boss Don, Big Val, the whole nine, the whole shebang bang. When it comes to this thing of ours called Off the Top Rope Podcast, man. If you don't know, now you know. In honor of Biggie Smalls, Notorious B.I.G. So I had to, take a little sack from that. But anyway, man, thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for watching, man. Thank you guys for tuning in, man. If you don't know this, you should know. Follow us on YouTube. Our YouTube channel is growing, 140 subscribers. Let's get that number up to 200 before the season finale, which is in several weeks. But needless to say, follow us there. Follow us on Anchor. Follow us on Google. Follow us on Breaker, Radio Public, Spotify, Podbean, Audio, and once in a while you can catch us live on Spotify Green Room. But needless to say, this is a After Dark episode. Excuse me, I gotta put my harmony into this. After Dark episode where we bring some special guests onto the show to have a nice little friendly little chat. But needless to say, my special guest with me today, it's not just someone that I truly generally care about, but he's not just family. He's not just, just a cousin to me. He's like a brother to me. But he's also a very smart, educated basketball fanatic. He's 1/4 of the Section 5 podcast. Shout out to them. But give it up for my younger cousin, 1/4 of the Section 5 podcast. Trey is on the show with us today.
What's good? What's good, Chiz? What's good, y'all?
Yeah, man, this has been long overdue. Thank you for, trying to come on here and, we got to get you on the After Dark, but you got to come support your family. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
so
sir.
I'm still waiting for that invitation, but we wait for one person to, come back into the format to rotation, and we'll see what that leads us and takes us and stuff like that. But needless to say, how you been, man? What's been going on, man? Like, what's new? Like, what's going on in your world over there?
Just been chilling, hanging out. There's a lot that's been going on with Celtics this off season. Training camp just started on Monday. They had a media day, so we got to hear a lot from all the new faces. Some old faces are back, and it's Cantor, Al Horford.
Wait, talking about we brought Cantor back again?
Yeah, and it's Cantor's back.
Oh, man. Just when you thought that he was gone for one season, he goes over to Portland. He's barely there for a fucking season, and then now he comes right back. And I was like, what's going on with that man? But, all right. So, we might as well start with the Celtics questions first. Oh, and if you don't see, you see my background of the 2 championships over there. Lucky right now, I can't put them on my shoulder because I'm no longer OTTR champion. I lost to Cyber Yeti. He's our OTTR champion, so I'm not allowed to throw all my belts on today. So that's why you got my joints right there in the back. So just in case the people that don't know, I was your longest reigning OTTR champion, but that's needless to say. That's neither here nor there. But let's start with some basketball questions, though. So, of course, you've been a Celtics fan all your life. So have I. We all know who the hell that we got this from. We got this from our older cousin. Can you just tell the fans who's been your favorite Celtics players of all time and why?
And for me, it was Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett. that big three of him, of KG, Paul, and Ray Allen.
Man,
That's pretty much what got me to be a diehard fan like I am. Like I started watching in the early 2000s, the Net series, that loss in the Eastern Conference Finals.
so you said the big three is when you started really paying attention, really started watching. Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett was your guys, growing up wise. Anybody else? I'm pretty sure. Well, I'm pretty sure we can have. We might as well have this argument right now about Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. We already know what the hell we said. I'm a Jaylen Brown guy. You a Jason Tatum guy.
No.
No,
this isn't the first time you said this.
This has been multiple times that we talked about this, but we didn't talk about it here, so we might as well just do it right now. You already know I picked the Jaylen Brown. You picked the Tatum.
No, I don't.
See where our boys is going. We see where our boys is going. They are the face of our Celtics team, as we predicted, and it became true, right?
So I don't choose sides when it comes to the Jays.
Okay, fine, whatever. But last time I checked, you had a Jason Tatum screensaver on your phone, so I know definitely you are a number 0 while I'm wearing a number 7.
Yep, I also have a Jaylen Brown jersey, Jason Tatum jersey. Just popped the Team USA Jason Tatum jersey.
Yeah, see, man, I gotta play catch up with you, man. I haven't bought any damn jerseys in like 10 years. So there's a lot of shit that I flaked on, but I told myself I definitely gotta get a Jaylen Brown jersey first before I would get a Tatum, and God knows I was gonna get that Horford jersey, but before he left, the first time to go to Philly, I was like, I'm not gonna waste my motherfucking money on him. But needless to say, now that he's back, maybe I'm gonna have to reconsider that option again.
I also got a Jaylen Brown juice hoodie. For those who don't know, he opened up a store in Boston. The address is 100 Seaport Avenue.
Ooh.
Yeah, so he's selling gear. He's got his own shop. It's called Juice.
Okay. Okay. So I'm guessing that was where last time I seen you, that was the shit that you was wearing?
Yeah.
Now it's starting to get. I was like, since when you start rocking the Juice shirt? Because the only Juice that I know off the top of my head is that old school movie back in the day, 1992, with Tupac in it, and Omar Epps. I don't know you remember that movie, but that's a classic, black cinema movie for anyone that knows about Juice. Oh man, come on now. Needless to say, I don't need to talk about that. But yeah, now let's shift forward. So you said that Paul George, Kevin and KG. I'm about to throw in the Jays as your favorite Celtics, and Paul Pierce. But what other teams are you looking out for this upcoming season? I'm pretty sure for some of you guys that knows what's going on in the NBA during the offseason, there's been some rule changes that's been in play. There's been some vaccination mandates that might be enforced. There's definitely been some big trades that happened during the offseason, some big free agent signings. Russell Westbrook, Carmelo Anthony, they're all Lakers territory now. AD's healthy. LeBron seems like he's back in motion. You look at teams like Chicago that made some big moves during the offseason. You see a few teams that made some pretty interesting moves. What's the move that caught you off guard the most?
Move that caught me off guard the most.
Because for me, to be honest with you, I really wasn't expecting Westbrook to go to the Lakers. I really wasn't. But then again, I was like looking at the dynamic of things. He wants a championship, and what other way are you going to do it? And a similar thing that's happening with Tampa Bay. Everyone wants to play with Brady because why? He's bringing them to the promised land. Why do you think people are flocking over to LA to play for LeBron? They want to win a championship.
Yeah, so I feel like I seen this coming a little bit with Russell Westbrook, only because the Lakers put together a bunch of salaries. So I knew at some point they were gonna trade Kyle Kuzma and KCP and all those guys for for a max level player like Russell Westbrook. I would say like one that surprised me, I guess I could say DeMar DeRozan going to the Bulls. It was a sign and trade with the Spurs. The Spurs ended up sending like Thaddeus Young, Al-Farouq Aminu. So yeah, it's in a draft pick.
Mm-hmm.
That I didn't really expect DeMar DeRozan to go there. I thought that there was, few locations he could have went to.
He chose home. He chose to go back home.
I thought it was a good choice, solid choice. I mean, everybody knows what DeMar DeRozan can do.
But then now they added Lonzo Ball, and they added the big man, your guy, Vucic, from the Magic in a trade that was like they basically gave him away for nothing. And when I see now, I was like, Trey gotta be over here like, But he's paying attention to him now because he went to another place where I think he can perform a lot better than what he did in Orlando, to be honest. But that whole different direction is about to surface. We see what the Knicks is doing. Ew. They picked up Kemba. They re-signed they signed Julius Randle, Derrick Rose. They re-signed a few people, and then they brought some new faces too, along with the draft. So they got a pretty good dynamic with them. We don't know what's going to happen with a bunch of other people too, and a bunch of other teams. Who has any teams that you think is not even going to break 15 wins?
Team that's not going to break 15 wins. Let me see.
Which means they're automatically going to be getting either the first or second draft pick in the following draft. Looking at what happened during the offseason and what can be at stake this upcoming season when it starts. Because I think for me, to really be honest with you, I was saying I don't know about Sacramento, the Kings, and I wasn't sure about Orlando because of what's been going on with them and all these crazy trades that they've been doing.
Yeah, I would agree with Orlando. Their backcourt, they got a bunch of guards. Cole Anthony, Markelle Fultz, who I think is out to begin the season. And then, RJ Hampton. And then they drafted Jalen Suggs. So, they got a bunch of guards there. It's going to be interesting to see if they can figure it out. But I could see them definitely being a top 5 team. I don't think, I feel like every team should win more than 15 games.
But then again, there could be certain teams that's going to want to intentionally lose just to get a higher draft pick. You know that. They're probably looking at the roster and like, we're not even going to crack maybe 10, 15 wins depending on who the hell do we face and what injuries that may happen.
Like even a team like Cleveland should be able to win quite a few games. Colin Sexton.
Yep. And I forgot about them too. Shit. Maybe Detroit. But then again, Detroit actually almost made the playoffs last season, so I can't knock them out either.
The thing with Detroit is they had Killian Hayes. He was injured, but he was their draft pick last year, high draft pick. And now they just got Cade Cunningham. So he's looking to, put up rookie of the year numbers, and they're probably looking to make the playoffs. We'll see if they can do it, but I don't expect them to be as worse as they were last year.
Okay. Well, the next question is a Celtic related question. Looking at the roster that we have right now, if we don't make any other moves, more importantly, side note, I'm actually kind of surprised that we let Taco fall out of our heads and he's over at Chicago now too. I was like, what? Oh man, you fucked that up. You could have built something with that guy and he could have been another Scalabrine for the team. We could have used that underworld star power to bank on it, make some money, grow some revenue, so you can try to get another player.
Yeah, I mean it is.
That's what I'm thinking. Because I was talking for a guy when he came in. I'm like, that's our Scalabrine right now. If we keep him, and even if he plays like 5-7 minutes, I don't give a shit. And he makes like some crazy ass dunk, the crowd will go nuts. That's when he's the fuck over. And yes, folks, I'm using a wrestling term today. He would get the fuck over with the crowd, and then I bet you the organization would have been like, you know what, man, we got to keep him. Like he's gonna be. So, Trey, my next question to you is: what do you think the Celtics need to do in order for them to get past the semifinals and go back to the Eastern Conference Finals or potentially the finals?
I mean, they got to go out there and play team basketball. I know Jaylen Brown mentioned that he's been wanting to play at a faster pace for years now. So that's something that they're going to have the opportunity to go out there and do. Adding Al Horford, in addition to Robert Williams, and in addition to Enes Kanter, I think is going to be pretty good.
Dennis Schroeder too.
I think Enes Kanter called all the bigs. He referred to them as Power Rangers.
Oh God.
So
who's who? So who's who?
I don't know, but basically it's like they all do different things. You know what I mean?
Oh.
And that's his point. Al Horford's a defensive presence. He can space the floor and shoot. Robert Williams is really good on defense as well. He's working on spacing the floor. And then Kanter's like, he's gonna get the rebound. We all know he's gonna go to work in the post, slow post, and he's gonna grab boards. So all the bigs can do different things. We added Dennis Schroeder, like you said, Josh Richardson. We made a bunch of changes. So I just feel like it's gonna be getting after it on defense. We know Jason Tatum can score. We know Jaylen Brown can score. Those are going to be two of, the best young guys in the league. So I'd say the best young duo.
And then we have Schroeder starting off, and then we still got Smart coming off the bench. As I dub our Dennis Rodman, we need him.
He's going to start.
Who, Smart?
Yeah, Smart's going to start at point guard. Jason and Jaylen will start. Those are
now. Side question would be: do you think that's a good idea or over Schroeder?
Yes. I say a lot of times with Marcus, he plays well. I remember this. He plays well with Al Horford. Pick and rolls with Al Horford, getting him the ball in his spots, and he just pays attention to little details. So he works well with his teammates. I think Marcus at point guard is going to be good, and Marcus never really got to be, the point guard here for various reasons. It was always somebody being brought in.
You need to put your face more into the camera because he's kind of like, yep, right there. But all right, last questions is just going to be pretty standard. Western Conference Finals, Eastern Conference Finals. Who wins? Who goes to the finals? Who wins it all?
I mean, let's see. I'm gonna have to go with the Lakers. With the addition of Russell Westbrook, I feel like they should get to the finals. The Clippers have injury. The Suns. The Suns had a good run last season. I just don't know if they'll get back there, especially with the healthy Lakers squad. I'm going with the Lakers from the West. And then out East, Milwaukee was pretty good last season, but I'd say the reason they got to the finals is because of injuries to Brooklyn. So I would say it should be Brooklyn versus LA. That's what the consensus probably is. Hopefully we don't see that matchup because I wouldn't, as a Celtics fan, I don't want the Lakers to win and have more championships than us. And then also as a Celtics fan, you know how I feel about the Nets and, Kyrie and.
I told you, listen, I'm going to spare Kyrie this episode because I've already said this a bunch of times already. I'm not going to do it here. You know how the fuck I felt about him, so we don't even need to even dig into a deep ambiance. So, folks, I'm going to spare the misery of the torture of Kyrie Irving. I'll say that for another day. But, all right. But next, we're going to shift over to some wrestling questions, and, we're going to dig back into your childhood, man. So, as far as I'm really concerned, if I can really turn back the clock on this, and Jesus, man, this is going real nostalgia feel. Well, you know me, I've been a wrestling fan all my life. When did you start becoming that wrestling fan that was watching the product every show that you had a chance to watch?
I would say in the late 90s, like 97, 98, 99. Started watching wrestling pretty early. SmackDown in the 2000s, like right around that era. So I would say probably 98. Probably 98 if I had to put a year on it.
So 98, Attitude Era, missed of it, Stone Cold Heavyweight Champion. But who is your guys and gals that you were behind the most?
Oh man, so if I just had to just name some names, you got Stone
Cold. I already know the tag team one, but the solo or the other choices, you can just say
when I think of wrestling, a lot of names come to mind. You got Stone Cold, The Rock, you got Undertaker, you got Shawn Michaels, you got Chris Jericho, you got Big Show, names like that. Old school names. I can go on for days with the old school names. So I would say, you say who's my favorite?
Mm-hmm. I mean, there's more that you're not naming because I could have thrown the Hardy Boys into this. You were a big fan, especially Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy was your main guy.
Yeah, I used to Swanton bomb off the couch.
Yes, you was. Oh man, yo, that brings us so many memories. So yes, folks, when they say please don't try this stuff at home, we did this shit at home.
Yes, we did.
Oh, we really did this shit at home. I remember doing apologizing to you, and then you actually bumped your head on the winning frame of the of your bed. And this is when y'all was living on Beach Street at the time, because I remember that, and then I got my ass whipped by your mom about that. So I remember that. Oh man, there's too many things, especially when we had the wrestling matches on the front porch.
Yeah, man, it's good times.
Oh man, so yeah, folks, man, we were little daredevils ourselves too, doing flying doubles off the side porch into the grass patch and shit like that. Oh man, the shocker cracked my head with a championship belt. I was laid out in the middle of the damn street.
The whole Attitude Era, you know what I'm saying? That whole era, late 90s, early 2000s, like that's what really got me into wrestling for sure.
All right. Well, eventually all things come to an end. So eventually for you, when did you stop?
I would say, so like 2015, because I stopped watching before I stopped buying the video games. So I would buy the video games every year.
Same
SmackDown versus Raw. I had all the video games, and I would just continue to buy it. You know what I'm saying? Because I like wrestling. And then when I stopped watching, I stopped buying the video games pretty much after a while. So yeah, I'd probably say 2014, 2015.
So around that time period was the new set of stars coming in. Bray Wyatt, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, just a few of them to name. Ryback, but the Usos, which I would believe that, like, if you pay attention to them, like if you were to watch them, their tag team matches, you would become a fan. So you probably would be a New Day person, but then again, you wouldn't like the gimmick. I already know how you are when it comes to that. There's not many good tag teams that seem still left right now currently on the main roster, because Vince McMahon just butchered the whole tag team division. That there's basically no one left. But one tag team that you might mess with, Street Profits. Definitely, I think you'll mess with Street Profits before anything else. If you would have watched the current product right now, I can see you doing that. But as far as other people is concerned, wow, I have no idea. You could have been a You probably could have been a Roman Reigns guy. Probably would have been a Bobby Lashley guy. Definitely not Drew McIntyre. Big E, you'll definitely rock with him. You basically will rock with the similar people that I would rock with because I think you have the similar common sense that I do. So I think you will understand that.
I might have got my ears messed up, to be honest, because I remember they started putting 2K on the logos for the games.
Mm-hmm. That started from 2K14, I think.
I never had one of the 2K games.
Okay, so when it came to the
SmackDown
2K
versus Raw and all that, I had all those games.
So once they stopped that, and then they transitioned, and then that partnership with 2K has started happening, that was when the technology, the gameplay started to become different. You know what I mean? So, but yeah. So, matter of fact, I think I told you about that last AEW pay-per-view. Did you ever watch that?
I saw clips of it on YouTube.
What'd you think about it? What'd you think about AEW's current product right now, from as much as you know?
Well, even from the first time that I watched AEW, I just thought it gives, anybody watching it some nostalgia from old wrestling, like just the vibes, the conversations that I had within the matches and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just gives more of an old school vibe. And then to see like some familiar faces here or there, like I know they had Jericho on.
They got Sting on.
Right.
Now, Jim Ross is still there commentating, but sooner or later,
that was the key. That was the key to first turn on AEW the first time, and then you hear that familiar voice, Jim Ross. That was the nostalgia, because that's something.
Him and Tony Schiavone as well, especially for the people that love Tony Schiavone's announcing and and commentary back then in WCW. They remember those two voices. Like, they got the both of them.
Right.
Like, wait, who are these guys? You know what I mean?
Right. And it's like you might just thought turning on the TV, like, oh, this sounds like some shit that I used to listen to. And then you realize, okay, because it's Jim Ross, and I do think they did a good job. And they do a better job than WWE when it comes to some of the storylines so far.
See, folks, even for a person that barely even pay attention to it, he understands. Oh my God. At least you said before anyone else even tried to do, because there's a lot listen, I'm part of that community now. Officially now, because to be honest with you, if it wasn't for this guy right here pointing me to the Facebook groups of the different wrestling groups and stuff like that, this thing I don't think would have even been out there as much as it is currently right now, if it wasn't for that. So I gotta thank you personally for that, pointing me in that right direction. Like, no, go to these Facebook groups here, boom, 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 because that's when you try to find like the wrestling fans look in there before looking at any other platform, try to do it from scratch. So if it was for that advice, I would never made it this far. Thank you.
No doubt.
But so as a rap wrestling fan, real quick, okay, so take a little I'll just edit that part out. Other than that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just slowly getting my setup back in order again, I guess. Kind of sucks when you got to do everything all over the damn place, and I was running behind schedule all day today, so I messed up pretty damn bad. So today's just one of those days. Oh, matter of fact, I could have just paused it. We're just taking a brief intermission. We'll be right back. All right, so now we back from intermission. So I was just gonna say, as a wrestling fan, what do you think WWE needs to do to try to win the fans back?
That's tough. I would say bring back old characters, but that's something that they're doing. You know, I've heard that's something that they're doing. That's something that people are saying is the knock against them. Is that, that's that they're grasping at straws. That's something that they're trying to do to keep the fan base in tune. But I would say continue doing that because people do want to see that. The problem is like those guys are getting old. You know what I'm saying? Like the guys from back in my day, Undertaker, he's not walking through that door.
He's retired, man.
He's done. So those guys are done, and it's John Cena. The new guy that came on board.
No, it's not even John Cena either. He's gone too. He's back in Hollywood.
That's the guy that can make an appearance every now and then, like the Undertaker would do, and make that appearance every now and then, and everybody's going to be happy about it. So those guys, that have been away for a while, and you bring them back, fans are always going to want to see that. But one thing they can do is they can stop having like, so many gimmicky conversations in between matches and the start and ends of matches and stuff like that. I tuned in randomly, every now and then. I'm just like, okay, it's Monday, and I'm flicking through the channels. I see Monday Night Raw. I'm like, let me just see what's going on for a second. So I'll do that, and then it's just like they're in the middle of some back and forth. There's a tag team match. Some dude's wearing like pink or something, and they're going back and forth, talking and just talking. And like, this does not interest me,
So basically, more action. More action, less talking. That would be one. You can't push the legends anymore because that's already done. But you got to build new stars for the future. Currently, they try to get the current fans, and more importantly, better storylines.
Right.
Well, seems like to me, you haven't really lost your touch. Seems like to me, you haven't really lost your touch. So I feel like you be watching wrestling when I don't even think about it. I'm like, you know what? Nah, he's not watching this shit anymore. It's like, nah, he's over here doing this. But now that I know, I'm like, okay, then. All right. So he's paying attention to the current product to a certain extent, but he's not fully like how I am dissecting every goddamn thing like it's a damn science.
Also, like, you got to keep in mind, too, they're on some of the same channels as basketball. So when I'm watching basketball, I end up getting a preview for like an AEW or whatever.
TNT.
So I'm going to end up tuning into a second of that or whatever, So it's happening. It's a good marketing technique from them if that's how they meant for it to happen. It's like, all right, after the basketball game, we give a commercial. That's everybody's going to be watching. So I've definitely seen those types of commercials.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, seems like to me you're like you keep it up with a certain current product. Now you're a long way from New Japan, GCW. Oh man, you can just be around me for one goddamn day. But these are other companies that's out there. The other promotions like Impact, of course. Like I said, New Japan, All Japan, Stardom, AAA, GCW, and then there's still hundreds of. Oh wait, Ring of Honor too. Sorry, folks, don't crucify me for that one. And hundreds of thousands of independent promotions. Jesus, like there's so much shit out there now. It's like from last year to right now, where we at right now, has been the best year in professional wrestling all around. And that's just me saying it because I'm like, now everyone is trying to step up their game. Now everyone is trying to reach out to one another. Like it's the old days of the territories. So now if that resurfaces again, oh my God, it's going to be beautiful. I can just imagine. Now I can just say, I'm not going back to WWE. I got all these other ones that I can play around with. Until they force my hand to step in, to come back. Why come back?
That's the beauty of there being competition. Like, if there's competition, and there's always going to be an out. There's always going to be another avenue for them to take. So that's the best thing about it. Like, is them having competition just like they used to have with ECW and WCW. Like, they need that competition It's just the moment it all comes together, then it's just like you do what Vince McMahon says, and that's it.
Oh man. Well, this is it, man. This is it. This is it. This is it. This is it. This is done. This is it. I think this is a good moment to walk away when the game's good. You say some of that energy one at a time. But before we do go, I just want to thank you, family, brother, my ace of spades. Best person I ever know that had my back since day fucking one. Thank you for coming on and tuning in and joining me for this After Dark episode. This is where I dubbed the winning circle, excuse me, not the winning circle, your victory lap, where you get to do your plugins, your shout outs, and saying, Mark, plug in whatever fuck that you can and will. So the fans know where to find you, where to find the podcast, where to find the merch, anything that you got out there, let them have it.
First, I want to say thanks for having me. Shout out to the OTTR podcast. I'm just going to plug in the Section 5 podcast. You mentioned it earlier. I'm 1/4 of the Section 5 podcast. You can find us on all streaming platforms. Hopefully, we're going to be taking it to YouTube soon.
Yes.
Yes. You can find us on all streaming platforms right now. We're at Section 5 on Twitter. The word section, the number 5, IVE. So that's at Section 5. And then you can find all of us individually, like myself, on there as well to follow us. And yeah, we're just a Celtics podcast. We talk Celtics mostly, but we will dive into other NBA teams at times, mostly Celtics. So yeah, give us a follow. And again, I appreciate you for having me on.
You already know the deal. You know the vibes. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Blackheart, of course. You'll catch. Oh wait, just to make you know, I'm not going to be on this upcoming week's last week of wrestling. I will be out taking a personal night out with my lady and probably going out to a birthday party. So yeah, I will be around. So Cyber Yeti will be your temporary host till I come back the following week. And even when the following week happens, we got the Irish Whip podcast. Big J and Big Joe are coming on the show to see us here. They're gonna be sitting right here with us as we're going to do the last week of wrestling episode that the following week. So they're gonna sit back and they're gonna see us at a natural environment. And oh my god, I'm afraid I'm gonna scare away these guys, but I don't know. Who cares? But until then, ladies and gentlemen, y'all know what to find him. Y'all know what to find us. Until then. As I'm just decompressing everything, and thank you for all the support and love that you all giving us as we keep going on our journey to try to make it out there into the world. But until then, we bid y'all adieu. Have a good night.
Peace out.
Back on the wolf pack.